The next speaker, this is a good friend of mine, Imam Shamsi Ali, that I know for many years. He's actually an interfaith leader, Imam Shamsi Ali. He's also the director and Imam of Jamaica Muslim Center, president of Nusatara Foundation. He is well-known religious scholar and interfaith bridge builder in New York and beyond. I can see him even somewhere, beyond America, for all his work he's doing. For details, actually, you can also refer to the chat box for his background. And, Imam who like to tackle the whole issue of justice and human dignity. And I want to give him the floor to present his topic. Thank you. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kone. Such an honor for me to be on the panel along with Mr. Schmoller and Bishop Yunan from Jerusalem. Good morning to all of you from New York. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. At the outset, allow me first to underline that my talk and my presentation, or my opinions in these presentations, is genuinely about Palestinians and Israelis conflict. And therefore has nothing to do with my interfaith engagement, particularly with my Jewish friends domestically and globally. At the end of the day, I must say also that we cannot agree on every single issue in the world, but if disagreement is unavoidable, let us disagree without being disagreeable. With all passion that we have about Palestine and Israel, I'm sure that our life is bigger than that. And I agree with Bishop Yunan when he said that we must be able to distinct between the Jewish people and what Israelis are doing in Gaza at the moment. Dear friends, the issue of Palestinians and Israelis conflict is truly has been for a long time a very high-profile conflict in the globe. The center of my presentation actually is about around justice, freedom, and human dignity. All human beings, without an exception of any person or any group, are created by God with an inclination to have justice and human dignity. It is just a very inherent and basic human nature. And so nobody will be willingly to accept injustice and his human dignity is taken away from them. The whole issues related to Palestinians and Israelis conflict actually are evolved around these two matters, justice and human dignity. So let me talk briefly about human dignity, why it is so important. As you may remember that in the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights enshrined human dignity, what is called in Islam, in my own religion and faith, it's called karama insaniya, human dignity, in its preamble. And it says, quote, whereas recognition of human dignity and the equal right of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. In fact, Article 1, it says, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. This is very clear for the Human Rights Declaration. Now, from my own, since I'm talking here as a Muslim as well, from Islamic theological standpoint, human dignity is actually believed to be godly guaranteed and granted. And he says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, verily we have dignified children of Adam. God the Almighty used the word children of Adam, which means none is left behind when it comes to human dignity. Among the most essential part of human dignity is certainly freedom, what is called al-hurriya in Arabic language. This is a basic human right and human dignity for every man and woman on this planet. For those of us who believe in monotheistic faith, one of the most important meaning of belief in one God is to express that no one has the right to enslave me or anyone else but the Almighty God. Thus, it is very clear that it's a part of our faith. So this conflict actually will never, and I would like to underline this point, will never has its ending without granting the Palestinians right to freedom and independence. It is a crystal clear. So as Bishop Yunan mentioned, that as we want to see Israel to be secure and safe, the only way is that Palestinian state must be independent and sovereign. So that is a basic human nature for everyone, including for our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Now, there are some other challenges in terms of peace here. And I would like to mention this very open. The international community, including the United States, do not fully and sincerely want to see Palestinians free. They half-heartedly say that they used to say, but there are gaps between words and actions. Compared to what happened, for example, to East Timor in Indonesia some years ago. By a single referendum, East Timor got their independence, and the United Nations admitted directly East Timor as an independent country. And the whole world agreed that East Timor is an independent country. The question is why then Palestinian people are so difficult to get their independence. These are the only people who don't have country, a state on this planet at the moment. The second obstacle to this is the tendency of extremism by the tendency of being eliminating one another. And that is what actually is happening at the moment, or is happening in Gaza. So this will bring any side, it doesn't bring any side anywhere except further killings and destruction. This is the first point I would like to underline, the importance of human dignity through freedom and independence. The second part is the issue of justice. Justice is paramount, important, fundamental for peace to happen. Otherwise, the discussion will be nothing but a kumbaya sang from time to time. And that's what we're talking about. Peace, 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 but injustice prevail everywhere. So we are reminded by the slogans, and we have heard this a lot in many, many demonstrations, no justice, no peace. This may be seen as simply a slogan, but in fact, it is an inherent human nature to have their rights be granted and guaranteed justly. Once again, coming back to my own perspective as a Muslim, in Islam, justice is considered a foundation of human's life, even in theology. Taking God as the only one to be worshipped is called adl, and the opposite is called zulm, that is oppressions. The opposite of adl, the opposite of monotheism is shirk, polytheism, and it is considered in Islam as oppression against justice. So justice Islam is universally universe in nature. Every single matter has its own right. Every part of our physical body has its own right to be fulfilled. So every single human has the right to enjoy justice. This is even more importantly when it comes to the right of all men and women. The Holy Quran states, do not, because of your anger towards others that make you unjust, be just, that is closer to righteousness. As an American, of course, I'm proud of this country and nation. I'm proud because this country and nation is defined not by race and ethnicity, but it is defined by values. And I'm proud of America as a country which is based on great values. And one of those values is about justice for all. And here, it is very important to be honest to our values as Americans. As I mentioned earlier, that's one of the most important but I have to mention once again that it's very sad to say the reality that when it comes to the justice to Palestinians, this beloved country, the United States of America, and many countries in the Western society are taking one-sided position. That is what we have seen in the Security Council. Even a single resolution just to save humans' life, the United States always block with its right to veto. And I think it's very sad. It saddened me as an American, it saddened me as a human being. So let me conclude my remarks by reminding also, I think Bishop Yunan mentioned very clearly that the issue of Palestine and Israel is not an issue that goes back to 7 October. It goes back to 1948. But beyond that, I must say, and this might be very sensitive and some of you may disagree, but the issue of Palestine and Israel is not an issue of conflict. The term conflict involves two equal parties. The issue here is an issue of occupation and colonization. And I think we have to take as such. This is number two. Number three, the United States, as it calls itself as a broker, must be honest to itself. And all certainly major countries, particularly in the West. Otherwise, you have lost the credibility before doing any possible mediation. And so as a man who wants to see peace in the Middle East and around the world, I must say, the only possible end to these ongoing cycles of violence in the Middle East between Israelis and Palestinians is to have the Palestinians, for Palestinians to have their land independent and sovereign. With an independent Palestine, Israel will further its advancement, security and prosperity, I'm sure, with peace. And otherwise, these cycles of bombings and killings will just simply continue. So again, justice, freedom, and human rights or human dignity is the answer to the conflict. Thank you very much.